Hey there, my name is John Fisher, and in this particular tutorial I'll be taking you through the basics of using Adobe Illustrator. Adobe Illustrator is a graphics design software, an advanced software that we usually use to create things like flyers, posters, illustrations, and many other documents. And today I want to take you through the basic tools you need to know for you to get started with designing with Adobe Illustrator. And let's dive right in. When you open up this software, this is the kind of interface you're going to see first. It may be exactly the same or slightly different depending on the version you're using. However, there are things that never change, things like new file on your document on the side here, and then open. Of course, we use open for an already existing document, but for a new document, we tap on new file, and there are some extra presets below here, different sizes. We have A4 postcard, common, and then we also have much more here under more presets. We can check out this and see what's there first. And this is what you get. As you can see above here, we have recent. For the recent sizes you've used, we have saved, just in case you have some saved presets. I don't have any. As you can see here, we have mobile, web, print, film and video, and then art and illustration. Now, depending on the purpose of your document, you should be able to know what to use. And since today we are designing for print, I'll click on print right here. I'll just choose any size here. I'll choose A4, and I'm going to choose orientation as landscape because that's what I want to use. Above here, the units, you can use the measurement units depending on what you feel familiar with. I'll just switch to inches, and that's it. And up here, I'll just name this basics. As you can see here, we have color mode as CMYK. By default, when you select print, you're going to see CMYK, and those are the colors that work best for print. RGB is usually for web and viewing on screens. So always take note of that when you're designing for print. It should be CMYK, RGB for web and screens. And the rest of these, we don't have to change anything. We can just click on create. Yes, and this is how the interface should look like when you create a new document. We have a blank document here, a blank page here, and this is in InDesign we call this an artboard, where you do your design from, and it's a single artboard that we need for now. And just to make sure we are looking at the same interface, I'm going to do some resetting here, and you can follow along so that all things look similar to mine. All the tools you have here, the panels and so on. So what we shall do first, we shall go to this side here and click on this icon that shows switch workspace. Make sure you have Essentials Classic selected. That's if you had any other selected earlier. So select Essentials Classic. You can go back again, click on that icon just to make sure everything is right, displayed right. Then go to Reset Essentials Classic below here, so that the Essentials should be exactly the way it should be when it's newly set up. So now that that's done, then we can dive in here and start working. Up here we do have what we call the menus, file, edit, object, and so much more there. We shall see them as time goes on and get to know what we each can do. Below it we have a panel that's usually based on the tools that are active on this side here, but we shall go through that as we use the different tools. On this side, we have what we call the panels, the different panels, including color guide, and so much more. But we have even what we call layers here, and then asset export layers, and then also we have our artboards here. Like I said, as of now, we have one artboard, and that's in other softwares you may call it one page, but in this case it's called an artboard. So we have one artboard there, and on top of the artboard we usually have layers there. One very important thing, panel we shall have to use here, the most important one is the one we call properties. As you can see, it's up here. By default, it's open. I'm going to collapse it for now, but I can always bring it back when needed. So when I click onto these two arrows in the end, it collapses. When I click on them again, it opens. So I can collapse them for now, and try to balance my artboard here in the middle. I'll change my zoom here slightly to about 50% so I can view it entirely. Makes my designing easier. So right now I would like us to go into the different tools here. We won't be going through each and every tool of Illustrator, but the basic tools we need for design, starting with this one at the top. This one at the top is the selection tool. However, since we don't have anything in our artboard here yet, I'll proceed to another tool and come back to the selection tool later. So I'd like us to go to this tool right here, and it's called the pen tool. So basically the pen tool is used to draw shapes based on points. How does that work? When I come right into this page here, this artboard of mine, I can create a point there, create another point there, create another point there, and another point there. So basically that's how it works. You click and then go to another point and click, 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 and then click, just like that. So it creates shapes with straight edges and curves. Now, how do we create the curves? We've seen how we do create the points with straight edges, but how do we create the curves? So now I can go back to the first tool, which is the selection tool, and the tool that you'll most likely be using, the selection tool. So I can select this shape I've drawn here and delete it. I can also select this one, either move it or delete it or resize it. So that's what the selection tool does. I can adjust, but for now I'll delete that so I can have an empty artboard here. Then go back to the pen tool so I can show you how we draw curves in this case. So I'll create a point here, create another point here, create a point here. Now when I create this, because I need the curve right here, so I'll click and hold my mouse key. I'll click and hold and then drag, either inwards, outwards, or even sideways. So I'll drag, I want it inwards, something more like that. As you can see, that's a curve. And then let go. I can switch back now to the selection tool as always. And that's my shape. So basically that's how we use the pen tool. It may need a lot of practice, but the simple illustration can just be that. Used to create shapes with straight edges and then curves. As you can see, and that's it. So I'll delete these shapes for now since we are done looking at the pen tool, and then proceed to another. The next tool is what we call the curvature tool. It's usually used to draw curves in shapes or shapes with curves. So I'll do this, do that. As you can see, basically everything you draw will get a curve in it. So that's the curvature tool. Of course, it takes a lot of practice to draw shapes that you may want that have curves. However, the other way would be this way. I can use my pen tool first to draw something like this. So that's us. I'll have to connect the first point to the last point exactly, which I hadn't done, to close the shape. So that's my shape with the pen tool. Then I can choose now the curvature tool and come right onto this edge here, click, and then drag inwards. So it curves the shape inwards, outwards, or even sideways, depending on really what you intend to achieve. You can have that, can have something like that. So basically, that's how the curvature tool works. We can go to the next tool. This is the type tool, or you can call it the text tool. I can click and drag here and then type in something like, let's say I'm designing a logo and a company logo, and the name of the company, I'll just call it my company. So with the pen tool, you can type, and when you type at the top here, you're going to get the character panel. With the pen tool active, you may even be able to see more options here depending on your version and the screen size. However, for now, this is what I can see. And I can click right onto this properties panel. Hope you remember it and can still see it. When I click onto the properties panel, I can scroll downwards to see the different options I have. Of course, there are many, but the most important ones for now that I need are these that have character as a heading. So from here, I can choose the font type to use. I can choose the size, as you can see. Increase the size. If the size is not enough, I can still type in something like 200. So that's it. I can space words here, but that different spacing, we shall look at it later in more advanced maybe tutorials. Here I can do alignment, align center. I can justify something like that, and then still I can go to what we call the color up here, just above the word character. We have the fill color. In this software, we always have two colors, the fill color and then the stroke color. And for now, we are more interested in the fill color. And I'll give it a color, any color you want. You can apply it to the text, and that's it. I'll click back to this, and yes, my text is done. As simple as that. I could even choose that different text has different colors. Select here, and that's it. That's my text. This text still you can resize it using these cubes on the sides, just like that, just like that, like that. Okay, but that's too big now for me. Reduce it. I'm using the undo shortcut, which is Control Z, to undo some steps. So that's it for the type tool. Maybe I would show you one more extra feature for the type tool, which is the type vertical typing, which types vertically. You could type something like this is too big, or reduce the size. Let's say about 60. I can give it color still. Okay, and that's it. Just in case you ever get to that situation where you need to type text vertically, you right click onto the type tool and then find this vertical type tool. In your free time, you can also test out these others. For now, we shall move to the next tool. I'll select this and delete them to clear my artboard. The next tool, which is the line tool, line segment tool. And basically, you can click and drag to draw a line. Vertical line, horizontal line, diagonal line. But to make sure the line is straight, you can always hold shift and then draw. Shift, draw, shift, draw. When the line is drawn, we can go to the properties options and give the line color. And usually for the line, this is the stroke color and not the fill color, because the line doesn't have a body. So we go to the stroke color, and when you give it color, now you can adjust even the the breadth. I can increase it just like that, and that's it. Basically for line, hold shift and then draw, just like that. So in case you ever need to draw lines, that's what you can do. Axe, that can draw axe. That's an arc tool, and I won't take a lot of time on it. You can always test out the rest of these tools in your free time. I'll go to the next tool. I'm going through the basic tools, those ones most needed to create a design that everyone should know about. The next tool is the shape tool. I want to call it the shape tool, but it's a rectangle tool with other shapes below it. So when I go to the rectangle tool, it enables me to draw a rectangle right there. I can draw a rounded rectangle, as you can see the difference. I can draw an ellipse. It's more like an oval shape. When you hold shift, you draw a perfect circle. That's it. Then we have a polygon. By default, this tool will draw an hexagon, and this is it. However, if I needed more sides of it, I can. This is what I can do. I can click and draw, and then tap on the arrow key, up arrow key or down arrow key to decrease the sides, down arrow key to decrease the sides, up arrow key to increase the sides, as you can see. But also I can just come in here and click once, and something like this pops up, so you can enter the number of sides and also enter the radius of the shape, and then click OK, something like that. Here we also have the star. I'll end at this for shapes. Click and drag, just like that, and the star is created. But you can also click and enter the number of points, just like we did for the polygons. But I'll just cancel for that. I can add the fill color and also have the stroke color if you want. And these could be different, they could be the same, just like you see that. So basically these are the different shapes that are available by default. However, some of these shapes can be adjusted by using some other tools, and we shall see how to adjust some of these just in a few minutes. Now away from this tool here, the rectangle tool, we can look at the next tool. Very important tool is the shaper tool. So basically the shaper tool tries to detect what you're trying to draw and then makes it a perfect shape. So I'll pick it, try and draw a square, and that's it. Try and draw a circle, and that's it. Try and draw a triangle, and that's done. So basically that's the shaper tool. Makes works very simple. Away from the shaper tool, I could go to the eraser tool here just in a bit, just to show you what it can do. And as you can see, it tries to erase bits of a shape, and as you can see, it messes up the shapes, but I won't go deep into this tool. I'll just undo to make my shapes stay as they are. I can go to the next tool, which is the rotate tool, but before I do that, I can select a shape here, then activate the rotate tool, and you can rotate rotate any shape the way you want using the rotate tool. Away from the rotate tool, we can go to the scale tool. Basically, the scale tool enables you to increase and decrease the size of any element here instantly. Click and drag to increase, as you can see, or decrease, just like that. Just like that. So that's the scale tool. Away from that, I want us to look at another tool down here, which is the shape builder tool. So with the shape builder tool, I'm going to show you what exactly it does. I'll use my selection tool here. I'm going to try and select two elements here. That there, that rectangle there, and then this the shape here, which is my triangle. So with the shape, with this selected like that, with the selection tool, I can bring my shape builder tool here, and as you can see, it sort of highlights parts of shapes that do intersect here and those outside of them. So with this shape builder tool, you can either deduct parts of shapes from the shapes or attach them together. What do I mean by that? One, if I would like to attach this triangle to this rectangle, all I have to do is come into this part here, then click and drag just like that, and I make it one shape, as you can see. I'll undo. Then maybe I can now just connect this part to this one here. Click and drag, just like that. As you can see, if I use the selection tool here, this is now attached. Back to the shape builder tool, if I did this, that's that. I'll undo, so it goes back to the original. There are two different shapes here. Now if I wanted to deduct still with the shape builder tool, all I have to do, hold Alt or Option key on a Mac, and then just click here. And that part is gone, as you can see. Now that has turned to white. And even this, I can take it away, and all I've stayed with is that basically. So that's how the shape builder tool works, and it can help us create different shapes from multiple shapes. Away from the shape builder tool, maybe a tool that I've not yet talked about, but is very important, is the direct selection tool. Now, direct selection tool, how different is it from the selection tool? Is that it selects specific points of a shape. Now, like when I activate it, I can come here and click onto this point, anchor point, once, and now I can move it in ways. So it won't move the entire shape, but under that part, it will try to, let's say, stretch it, as you can see this, inwards, outwards, any way you want. So it takes that specific point of a shape and moves it, which the other selection tool may not be in position to do. So this way I can just create an arrow just like that, as simple as that. Back to the selection tool here, we do always, when we select these shapes, we do see these circles inside here. What is the purpose of this? Now these circles can be used to increase the curving of shapes or decrease it. So I can just click here and increase it just like that, as you can see. And then click again and take it back, just like that. So sometimes you want to move only one side. So how do you do that? You come inside here and click on it first, and then let go, and then I'll click and drag. As you can see, it's bending one side. Then I can come even on this one, click on it once, then I'll click and drag. Now I've removed the curve from this side, I've increased the curve on this side. If I wanted to remove one on this side, I click once, then click and drag. Just like that. So basically that's what it does for most shapes here. Now for this, I can click and drag inwards. As you can see, it becomes a circle away from a polygon. So I can take it back to the polygon shape. And that's it for that shape. For those symbols in there. The next tool that might be important, very important, is I think that's it. Below here is the magnifying glass. Basically it's the zoom tool that looks like a magnifying glass. So when you click, it zooms in. When you hold Alt and click, it zooms out. But you also can click onto an element and hold so as to zoom in, just like or you drag downwards to zoom in, upwards to zoom out. Or you can use the Control minus and Control plus. So basically that's it for these tools, and right now that we've been able to go through those, we can look at how to design, how to do some sketching. With Illustrator, sometimes we draw illustrations with hands and then bring them, scan them using a printer, and then convert them to actual digital elements by tracing them. So question is, how do we do that? And we are going to be looking at that in the next few seconds. So now what we are going to do some tracing of one element that's done with hand and convert it to something digital. This is, we are going to create a new document. And to do that, let's go to File. I'm not going to close this. We can work on two projects at the same time, both of them open. So I can go to File and then New. I'll still use A4 size. And I'm going to use still landscape. Probably this part of artboards I didn't talk about it, but this is where you set the number of artboards you need. If you want more than one, you can set that, but for now we need one. And for the rest of the bits here, I'm not going to change anything. I'll just click OK. I'll click OK. Nothing much to change here. So I'll create, and this is my page here. I'll switch here to a zoom of about 50%, so I can view every bit of this. So with this open, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and drop in my sketch, the hand-drawn sketch, so that I start working on it now. I saved it right on the desktop. Go to my desktop, Illustrator files, and this is it. As you can see, it's hand-drawn. Click and drag it right in here, and that's it. I'll try to line it here in the center. I can try to adjust the size slightly. I hold shift so that I don't distort the proportionality, and that's it. What I'm going to do next here, to make sure this element doesn't move as we do our work, we are going to do what we call locking. So first things first, let's go to here, layers on the side. These many tools here, and there is this one that looks like this. It's called layers. Now layers here, we can have multiple layers to hold different elements. And layers usually fall on top of others. The newer layer will fall right on top of the old layer. As you can see, we have layer 1 as of now, and by default usually you have 1. So that's it, and what we are going to do is, using this plus icon here, we create a new layer, and that's layer 2 there. This element right now is on layer 1, and what we can do is, here we have this part here. When you click on it, it brings a part lock, and basically that would mean that this layer is locked, and as you can see, this element can no longer move until you unlock it here. So we have the visibility icon here that looks like an eye, and then the padlock that's used for locking. The eye, if you don't want to view something, it's still there but you can't see it, and then turn on the visibility. Now we are going to be working with layer 2 and make sure it's selected and not layer 1. And then to draw something like this, as you can see, this mostly has straight edges, and therefore we shall be using the pen tool to sketch that. So our pen tool is right here. I'll right click and select the pen tool, and I can start to draw from anywhere I feel like. So I will come and click onto this point here, then draw to this point here, draw to that point there, then this point here, then like this, like that. Now this shape seems to be having a fill, but we can remove that later, no worries. As you can see some white in here, that shouldn't worry us, we can sort it later. I'll click that, but I guess I should sort that right now using this option here. I'll go to my properties right here, scroll down, and I feel I can put it to none, and that's gone. So I can proceed here with my work. I can collapse this and continue like that, like that. As you can see, drawing that. I'm trying to make sure these lines are straight so they balance. It may not be so perfect with the hand drawn, but of course in this digital shape you try to correct the imperfections, and that's what I'm trying to do, right here and right there. So that's one done. We've got to draw all these bits here. Still with the pen tool, come click onto this, draw right here, right there, just like this. I'll increase the speed a little. If it's your first time using this pen tool, you may need to go carefully, but I'll increase a bit for not to make the tutorial so long. Click that, and that's it. Then to this one, I can undo here. I don't feel like it reached the point it had to reach, like that. Like that. If it's imperfect, still you can always adjust. So there should be no worries later on. So click like that, like that. That's done too. And then we can come to this, click like now. And that's unconnected. Oh, connected. Just like that. From that, come to this, click like that, click, and that's connected. Then to this, connect the different points, just like that, till all parts are done. So now that we are done with the tracing, we can try to add some little carvings and remove the imperfections. From this, I could try to turn off the layer in the back. I can collapse this. Let's try to turn off the layer in the back and see what we have. So basically this is it, and we can try to adjust a few points just to make it a little more perfect, and then we can proceed with maybe giving it color, and we should be good to go. So now let's try to perfect our shape here. As you can see, most of these shapes are not balancing, but it should be more symmetrical. So what we are going to do uh, is let's first try to adjust these shapes here so they look better. I could use my direct selection tool to adjust some of them like this, move it like to that point. I think that's good. Then this one, I think I'll just duplicate these two for these two so that they look exactly the same. So how am I going to do that? First of all, I'm going to delete this, and then add this. What I'll do, first of all, use the selection tool, hold Alt, and then click on this just to duplicate it, just like that. And then this two. Actually, what I could do, just delete this, select both at once, and then I can group them. Right click to group, so that's how we group. And then I can use the Alt key now, and then click and drag. I didn't get that. Alt, and then just like that. With that done, I'm going to use probably there is a rotate tool here. There's also a reflection tool. Let's try the reflection tool and see if we can have this work. Yeah, something like this should be able to work to help us. So back to the selection tool. We could delete these two for now, and then carry these just like this. Yes. Because it's more perfect for that. Then we could use even this side for this side. And but before we do that, I feel like this side is not so perfect. We could adjust a few of these. So use the direct selection tool, click these points, and adjust them just like that. If we wanted to add more curves, we would, but at this stage, let's not suffer with the curves. So let's just proceed to trying to duplicate this. I could adjust this a little more, just like that. Looks much better. This goes far past this point. Could pull it in a bit, just like that. Pull this in a bit, just like that. And then use the selection tool to remove this, and just like select this, all this, click and drag to select all of them at once, then delete, click and drag to select these, and then right click them, group them, right click, no, go and choose our selection tool first. Still hold Alt on your keyboard so we can duplicate these and bring them this side. So bring them this side just like that, then use our reflect tool to click and drag just like that. Looks, something like that. Doesn't look so good so far, but we could adjust it a little. Yeah, and I think this looks better, much better. May not be perfect, but of course with practice you can make these much better. But for now, let's go with what we have, and we can give it some color. So how do we give this some color? Let's try to use our color tools here. So to add colors to this, make sure whatever you want to give a color is selected. I could select this first and then come here to our colors. Then go for the fill color. I want some dark blue for this. Some blue, more like that. And then click OK. So that's it for my fill color. For the stroke color, I think I'll do away with it. The lining, that should be good to go. For this shape here, I can still apply this kind of blue. So you can click here, you can use the recently used color by using this icon here, and it's applied. The other thing you could do, when I click here, I could show you how the eyedropper tool works. We didn't go through it at first, but I can activate it here and do this. As you can see, this is already selected. Click here, and the same color is applied. Now this eyedropper tool can be used even to pick colors from images, real images or pictures or photos that you've taken with the camera. You just drag in that image and then use the eyedropper to pick color from it and apply it to another element. So now let's go to the next part here. I'll give this color red, something like that. Red, the outer lining, that's black. I'll turn it to none. That's the stroke color. And then for this, I'll do the same. This to none, and then the inside to red. The fill to red. The color, the inside to red, something. Okay. Oh, this is not selected anymore. So let's give it the color. Red. Okay. So that's a red, there is a red. It doesn't look like the same, so I'll use the eyedrop and pick the color from here. Just like that. And we should be done. Does anything else here still have a stroke? Okay. So this is it for us. And if I was doing this for a logo, I should have had my logo almost done. So I can select all these and do what we call grouping. Hope you all remember the grouping. You just select what you need to group, right click, and then look for group. So when you group something, it becomes more like one element, but still you can ungroup it to make them multiple elements. I'm going to downsize it a little. So I put it right here. Let's say I was designing a logo, and then I can add some text here for my company name that I'm just going to call my company. But that should be the name, of course, of the company you're designing a logo for. So with that done, I can go here to my properties. Of course, you can still click from here to get properties. I haven't shown you that yet. Click character here, and they should pop up. As you can see here, we can now choose, sorry about that, we can choose the font type we want to use. Can scroll through the number of fonts here, but if you don't like any of these, still you can download from online and install other fonts. Some of them are premium, some of them are free, so it's really up to you. So choose which one. This looks good for me, and I can increase the size, something like that. Maybe that's still small. Can increase it more. Give it about let's say 100. Let's try 100 and see. 100 looks a little big, but I guess we shall stick to that. Increase the size here so that the wording can fit. Yes, something more like that. Try to balance it there, and then we can give it the preferred color or colors. If I had to put this to, let's say, full color, we could use the eyedropper to give that a color, then go back to this, select this, and pick the eyedrop again, give it that color, and that's it. So you should be able you should be done with your. I can try to align this center to make sure just there in the center, and just like that. And now we can save. Go to file and say save. Take note of where you're saving your document. I'm saving it in documents. I'll call it company logo and save. So that's the project file. You can always come back and edit it. Version Illustrator 2020. That's okay. There's nothing much to change here. Just click OK. And that's saved. Now, if you want to export this, now that our design is done, we are going to do some exporting, some saving and exporting. Of course, our logo is already saved with file. Then you go to save. As you can see, now it's inactive because it's already saved. But to export, now there are two things we need to know. If you're exporting for screens, you're going to come to file and then go to export here and then go to export for screens. So under export for screen, you're going to see something like this, and I can even name my element from here as, let's say, logo, and then here the format you can save as PNG or JPEG. Of course, PNG has transparency, JPEG doesn't have. So since I want transparency, I'll keep it to PNG, and then I can say export artboard. Here I choose where I want it saved. So I click and then go right here, and I'll select that, and then I'm going to export artboard. And when it's exported, I should have it right here, inside here. And this is my logo, as you can see it, with a transparent background. And then if I'm to export for print, if I need it to be printed, I'll go to File, and then I go to Save As, and not Export. Save As, and then right here, of course, they give it the name. Already it's named, and then I'm going to switch to Adobe PDF, as you can see. Adobe PDF, select where I want it saved, and that's it. And I'm going to click on Save. And something like this is going to pop up. I'm not going to change most of these parts here. Preserve Illustrator. Compression here, do not downsample. This is very important for the highest quality possible. Marks and bleeds for printer instructions. We can check this. And then we are going to click Save PDF. And it should be saving, or it should be done. I can go to my folder and check to see if my PDF is already there. So it's right here. So I can double click on it, open it. And this is it with, of course, print marks and colors. So that's my logo there, ready for print. And this is what you send for print to the printer to be printed. Don't mind these colors here. They are printing instructions, and then marks. So they shouldn't worry you when they print. These will be automatically cut off by whoever is printing. But basically that's it. We send a PDF for printing, and then for online sharing we can always use JPEG, then PNG, and also SVG formats. SVG is is a format that is a vector file, is a vector file format that doesn't lose quality when resized, and that's its importance. So basically that is it for Adobe Illustrator. So you should be able now to design anything basic. And to learn more, of course, you can always go online and search for more videos about Illustrator so that you grow your skill of designing. Thank you very much.